This is the KitchensinkWP Podcast, episode 334.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash. 404 error. Page not found. Links aren't working. System is crashing. System is crashing. System is crashing.
Your old HTML website. Barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website. Better than it was before. Better. Stronger.
Faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the KitchensinkWP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. No WordCamps, but I want to announce an event coming up. It's not until September, but give you a heads up, get a free ticket. It's over at WPMRR Summit. It's the WordPress Monthly Recurring Revenue Summit. It's a podcast put on by Joe Howard and Christy Chernos. Friends of mine. September 23rd, 24th. It's free. Check it out. I will be attending that one. That's a good one to definitely attend. I mean, I think it's the first time they've done it, but WPMRR, that monthly recurring revenue, the business aspect and the angle there would be really valuable to me. So check that out. All right, moving on to segment one in the news. A whole bunch of stuff in the news today. WordPress 5.5 Beta 2 is out for testing. It's still on track to be delivered on August 11th as far as the full 5.5. So that's pretty cool. Test, of course, in a staging server, nothing live, as always recommended. WordCamp Europe 2021 has already been determined. It will be online. It's not even until next year, till next June, if I'm not mistaken. It's a year away, but they already made the decision to just go online, not be in person. So there's that news, kind of sad. What else here? Oh, yeah. 2 million users were affected by a vulnerability that was found in all-in-one SEO pack. WordFence put out a blog post about this a couple days back, and there's already been a patch for all-in-one SEO. So if you're running that and you haven't done the update, definitely recommended to do it because I guess there was a major vulnerability there. So check that out. And two more things here in the news. The New York Times has an article with Matt Mullenweg about working remotely, and he was actually on the Corner Office as a podcast, it was a live discussion. Was it a week and a half ago? I listened to that. I think this might be the same content, but if you're looking to read something about it and about working remotely in distributed offices, check that out. Link in the show notes there as well. And lastly, Aweber now offers a free level as an ESP, email service provider. They're not sponsoring the show. They're not connected to me. I have an affiliate with them, yes, but they offer a free level. Way back in the day, they used to offer a $1 trial that always paid. I use them, and the reason I mention this is I use them for this show, for KitchensinkWP, for the email list. I've been using Aweber since day one. Works out well. Up to 500 subscribers. So there's free. So if you want to check it out, there's a link in the show notes as well, or head over to aweber.com. So there you go. If you do click on my link, I get like a small commission. So, all right, moving on to the meat and potatoes of this week's show, segment 2, launch checklist update. That's right. So this week I want to talk about and revisit a topic about checklists, specifically pre-launch checklists, more specifically about e-commerce and memberships, because that's what I'm talking about right now. I do like me a checklist. The book Checklist Manifesto, one of my favorite books by Atul Gawande. And I've spoken about checklists on this very podcast a couple times, most recently episode 213, which was over 2 years ago. So as I'm just about to launch something new, one of my side hustles, I might have mentioned it in past episodes, and I'll be coming back to that in the very near future about discussing that whole process. I want to revisit this because it is e-commerce, it's with membership, and it's not the same things. It's additional things that you need to probably do on a checklist. Then I talked about episode 213. Link in the show notes for that if you want to go read those. I think there was 12 of them back then. And I was looking at them, and some of them have changed. But I mean, backups are backups, but I don't use the same services anymore. But anyways. Okay, so when the time comes, here are the things that I'm doing to prep the launch with the angle of specifically e-commerce and membership, as I've said a few times already. I have 9 of them here. And some of them do matter in order, but these are just kind of take what you will from this. So here we go. Test. Okay, so test the e-commerce aspect, obviously. In test mode, while you're setting things up, use Stripe or PayPal. They both have numbers you can test with. Like the Stripe Visa test number is 4242, and then use that 4 times. Any CCV number, any date, expiration date, as long as it's in the future, you got to test that. And then here's the kicker. Number 2, you want to run an actual test with a real credit card or debit card once the site is live, because you want to make sure that it still behaves the appropriate way. So number 3 is it would be this. When you move from staging to production, you want to fix and update any endpoints. You might need to disconnect and reconnect the Stripe connection. We're using Stripe, so you might need to reconnect to that, because without those endpoints being correct, things don't quite work the way they expect them to. And I'll get to that in a second. Number 4, set up taxes. If you're selling something that has a tax base on it, make sure you do the taxes correctly. And that's a whole separate issue right there. I'm lucky. I'm not doing taxes on this site. I don't need to, but it was just something that kind of popped in my head. If I was, have I set that up properly, etc. Number 5, check emails that they're sending correctly to the customer. This now ties back to the endpoints, because if they're not set up correctly in the endpoints, the emails will not go to the correct customer correctly, because Stripe specifically won't fire transactional emails, unless the Stripe process is complete versus pending. Okay. Also check that emails are sending correctly to the admin, to the owner of the site, or whomever you want to get those emails. Make sure that those emails are formatted correctly, adding the logos, adding the content correctly, etc. as well. So also that comes down to what you're using for a membership or for your sales website. In this case, we're using MemberPress, so that is totally customizable, so it's pretty cool. What else? Number 7, messaging bullet points on the pricing tables. Do they make sense, truly? And are they in Latin? Meaning, do you still have dummy content in there, lorem ipsum? So you want to make sure that they make sense, one line per bullet point, and they're not redundant a little bit to something, at all, really, and that they kind of explain what you're getting for this price point, okay, and make sure they're not just lorem ipsum, okay. You want to check for mobile responsiveness, of course. You'd be surprised. I was surprised that some things just didn't look as good as we thought they were going to look on different sizes. So there's some fixes to be done still, but mobile responsiveness. And check that forms you have on the site, contact forms, support, feature requests, any form you have on the site, run them through the process once you're on a live server. Even behind a coming soon page, but make sure they're correctly firing to the right place, etc. And look somewhat decent as well. So that way you can kind of tell who sent what, where, when, and how, and why the emails are coming to you. So there you have it. My 9 new items for a launch checklist. And once again, test the e-commerce aspect in test mode with a Stripe test. Run the actual test with a real credit card and debit card. When you move from staging to production, fix and update the endpoints, disconnect and reconnect if you have to. Taxes if you're doing a tax base. Check emails that they're sending correctly to customers. So you have to use, maybe you have a handful of email addresses that you own. Become a customer of your own, by the way. That's how I did it. Check emails that they're sending correctly to the admin. That's you or the site owner. Messaging bullet points on the pricing table. Make sure they make sense. Check the mobile responsiveness. And then, of course, check forms like contact, support, and or feature requests, that kind of thing. So basically, just 9 more things. I did 12 of them back in episode 213. I'll let you go visit the website for that. It's KitchensinkWP.com/E213 if you want to check that out as well. Okay, so hope that helps. E-commerce and membership, whole new ball game for me. So I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. And I'll talk more about that in an upcoming episode. All right, moving on to segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week, it's a book. It's the WordPress plugin book. It's actually Professional WordPress Plugin Development 2nd edition, written by my friends Brad Williams, Justin Tadlock, and Triple J, James Jacoby. I don't know what the third one is there, but anyway, I won my copy. I was lucky enough to be on a webinar with them, just listening, learning about how to build a plugin. I still have interest and aspirations of doing that. So I put my name in the raffle and I won a copy of the book. So you can get that over on Amazon, link in the show notes as well. And that is it. Check that out if you want to learn how to do a plugin. The book, they are the authors. That is the book you want to get. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use a speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, become a Patreon. That'd be awesome. KitchensinkWP.com/Patreon. You can sponsor the show. There's a form on the website that will come to me. I've tested that. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.